Welcome to the GCN Tech Show.
This week we've got equipment changes and bike changes at the World Tour. We've got new glasses from Oakley, comments of the week, your favourite, the Bike Vault, and our main talking point.
Which pro bike won the most races this year?
Let's do it.
This week we're going to be discussing which pro bikes won the most races in the 2023 season. And this is something Tom Hallam-Gravels has been writing on the GCN website.
Yeah, cheers, Tom. Now, we've tallied up all of the wins of each respective bike. Now, this gives us insight as to which bike has been the most successful. But the big caveat to this is, we're not ignoring the elephant in the room, which is undoubtedly the thing that makes the biggest difference is the engine, the rider. However, the bike does still make a difference. And even if it's a small one, when the winning margins are so small, say in a bunch sprint at the end, or, it's just a couple of watts or whatever, it can be arguably the bike that has made that difference. Right,
first of all, let's break it down a bit. What bike do you think won the most monuments this year?
I'm going to Canyon, because Vanderpool.
Good shout. Well, there was actually two. There was the Colnago V4 RS and the Canyon Air Road, and it was Milan San Remo and Roubaix for Mathieu van der Poel, and Flanders and Il Lombardia for Pog. But there was 5 monuments in total, so Liège was won by Remco on the SL7.
Yeah, that's quite interesting actually, because the season's kind of split between the Tarmac SL7 and the SL8 when that came out later on. What about Grand Tours?
Has to be Velo for Jumbo-Visma.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Well, they won everything, didn't they?
Yeah.
But in terms of stage wins, let's have a look. Ooh. So they've got the stats here. Specialised actually comes out top in individual stage wins.
Interesting.
With 12 in Grand Tours in the men's side. But that's because they have 3 teams. So
and it's 3
Bora
pretty good
Hansgrohe,
teams.
Soudal Quickstep and Total Energies.
Yeah.
So that gives them a big advantage, but 12 is impressive. And I think they probably would have had more were it not for Remco going out of the Giro as well, with COVID halfway through.
But interesting, second place, Velo, and they had 7 wins.
I thought they would have had more.
Yeah, but it is just the one team when you compare Specialised and they have 3 teams.
Yeah, but then it feels like in my head that Velo won more stages of Grand Tours this year, but it's just because they were always up there and they won the overall. But
I guess you can win the overall without even winning the stage.
Yeah.
So.
And then Canyon next. Arguably, in terms of individual stage wins, Canyon's arguably second because they got 9 stage wins. They just didn't get the 3 overall victories. But they that was with, again, 2 teams, so Alpecin de Koenig and Movistar, but mainly coming from Alpecin de Koenig with Jasper Philipsen dominating in stages.
Yeah.
In the sprints.
Interesting.
But overall, taking all the races into account, who or which bike has won the most? Not just Grand Tours, not just monuments, everything.
Well, interestingly, in first place, winning by a mile, drum roll please, Velo with Jumbo-Visma.
Yeah. It's impressive though, because it just highlights
38 wins.
38 wins. It highlights their utter domination.
Yeah.
Because they're way ahead of second place, which is Specialised, with 31 wins. But that, as we've previously mentioned, is spread across 3 teams. So, that is just, they're way ahead of everyone else. And that is, pointing out that's the R5 and the S5. They use both the lightweight one and the climbing bike. I wonder if that is actually something that has helped them win more races.
Could be. Whereas
if you compare it to, say, Ineos Grenadiers down in 6th place with Pinarello.
9 wins.
9 wins. It's like, say, the last stage of the Giro, for example, where they had to do that uphill time trial and they switched onto the road bike. But because they have just one road bike that's kind of an aero and all-round bike, it's not the lightest, so they do struggle to get it down to the UCI weight limit, whereas, Jumbo had the option to switch onto the R5. They didn't just have the aero bike, they went onto the lightweight one for that last little bit, which made total sense.
Yeah, that's a really interesting fact,
saved a bit of weight, and it's that thing of, some teams, and the specialised teams are all riding either the SL7 or the SL8. They've done away with the Venge.
And that is quite a big... That is the difference between winning and losing. You have to get off a bike and change onto not a climbing-specific bike.
Or, a lot of the aero bikes are over the UCI weight limit. So, it's interesting.
Very
Maybe
interesting.
that little difference could be making a difference.
Yeah.
But then you've got Colnago in third also, kind
28.
of punching above their weight, but a large part of that coming from Pogacar.
Yeah.
28 wins in third place. But languishing at the bottom, it must be pretty depressing for those teams.
I was quite surprised, actually.
Yeah.
1 win for Astana.
Yeah.
16th place.
Yeah, but that one win is bloody good win.
Yeah, it was.
Because that was
Cav
Cav in the final stage of the Giro in Rome.
Yeah.
That was amazing. By the Colosseum.
Yeah. But getting to the end of the season,
Yeah.
1 win.
Yeah. It's pretty stark, isn't it? The gap between the top and the bottom.
It's really interesting to look at the stats, though.
Yeah, I think the other thing is that if you break down specialised and divide it by 3, they're basically in 6th place. If you say it's roughly 10 wins per team, we know it wasn't 10 wins per team, but they're then there, and you can see. Same with Canyon. If you divide that by 2, because it's 2 teams, they're 10 wins per team. Again, we know it wasn't, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. But question is, what's it like on the women's side?
Yeah.
Is it going to be the same?
Well, I don't know.
Annemiek Movistar, she's been pretty dominant.
Yeah.
And SD Works.
SD Works, basically, isn't it? So what's happening?
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
So.
I've just seen the numbers. It's ridiculous. Yeah, that is just absolute domination, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So SD Works, top of the tree by an absolute mile, 40 wins on specialised. So again,
that is
SL7,
so impressive.
SL8.
They are unbelievable.
That's even bigger domination than Jumbo-Visma's domination.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You could argue in terms of outright wins.
Again, in second place we've got Canyon, but they also have 3 teams. They've got the Canyon SRAM team, Phoenix de Koenig, and Movistar, and they've only had 13 wins between 3 teams.
Yeah.
It just literally goes to show SD Works.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Smashing it.
But then the Jumbo-Visma women's team is quite a bit less successful than the men's. They're in 7th place with only 3 wins.
Yeah. That's
quite a big difference.
Very big disparity.
Yeah.
What we want to know from you, though, is how much difference do you think that the bike or equipment sponsor makes to these results? So in the case of Jumbo-Visma, do you think they would have won the same, or would have won more, or would have won less races if they had a sponsor that only provided them with one all-round bike that was kind of a bit aero and a bit lightweight, rather than having the 2 polarised options of the R5 and the S5 aero and lightweight bikes? Because I think it's an interesting...
It definitely is, yeah.
An interesting area of tech right now, because different teams are going down different routes with their bike sponsors.
It's now time for hot and spicy tech. And first up, we've got some new Oakleys.
Yeah, so the encoder, you familiar with that
I am.
glasses? It's the one that's like a single sheet that bends over the nose.
Doesn't
Jasper
look good on me.
Philipson wears them. Yeah, it doesn't look good on me either. It's a bit of a Marmite one, I think.
Yeah.
But they've created a new encoder by accident.
Whoopsie.
So apparently they cut 1,000 encoder lenses wrong, with in a weird shape with some holes in them. And so they've made that the space encoder. So it actually looks pretty cool. It's like a gold lens with like blue arms. And it's got a weird shape, but yeah, it kind of looks quite funky.
And apparently you can change the arms for like a strap, so you can use them when you go skiing as well.
Yeah, or for other applications where you might want them not to
Strap.
fall off. Yeah. They've expanded the encoder range as well.
They have.
So there's all sorts going on. There's the space encoder, the ellipse.
I'm really not sure about the ellipse.
No.
That's not my cup of tea.
No. It's a bit too Star Trek, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah. And then there's the encoder squared as well.
Same but different.
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts, hot or not, on the new Oakley range.
Yeah. What are you saying?
I think they're pushing the boundaries.
I think medium.
Of eyewear.
Medium hot. Not hot, but medium.
Alex will love them.
Yeah, he definitely will.
Another piece of hot tech, wireless brakes. So this is something we've spoken about on the show before, but Blake over at GMBN has actually gone and done it. He's actually gone and made some and rid them on mountain bike downhill. It's insane and definitely worth checking out that video. It's proper cool.
It is really cool. And obviously it went out on the weekend and...
But we know most of you are roadies and most of you won't have seen it. So.
No, probably not. And I kept seeing on like Instagram all the mountain bikers were doing this like posting about this top secret thing in this briefcase and I was like, what's that about?
Yeah.
And then it was all revealed.
What was funny is I saw some websites actually... So someone had photographed Blake while he was in the Forest of Dean filming the video.
Really?
And they just got like a spy shot of the caliper with no wires on it.
Ooh,
and then
sneaky.
they sent it to some news websites, and some news websites, not knowing it was Blake from GMBN, reported on it as like some brand must be out there like testing wireless brakes. It's just Blake from GMBN.
That's great.
I know, yeah. And then, well, the other big thing that you need to solve, because we've discussed this before, is the modulation.
Yeah.
Because often if you just have wireless brakes, the biggest problem is that they're just on-off. And you can't have your brake lock on, lock off.
That would not
You're just
end
over the
well.
bars when you press the brake. So that was his biggest challenge to overcome. But yeah, he's worked on that. Anyway,
moving on to some different sort of tech. Bora Hansgrove are moving away from Shimano onto SRAM.
Yeah, so we've reached out to the team for word on this. We haven't, at the time of recording, heard anything from the team.
They leave us hanging.
Yeah, they have done so far. But we do understand, and we have seen on some Twitter posts, I'm calling it Twitter, I'm not calling it that silly name, that they have posted pictures from their latest team camp using SRAM components and SRAM group sets on their bikes, which is interesting because they've been sponsored by Shimano for a long time, and they were one of the sort of higher tier Shimano teams, as I understand it as well.
Big change.
Not all though. The other group set story for pro teams is Campagnolo doesn't appear to be.
Yeah, that's true.
In the World Tour next year, which is, well, it's kind of a shock. I mean, it seems like, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it might be the first time that is the case because, well, they are actually the most winningest group set manufacturer because they've been, although Shimano has had a lot of success in the last 20 years. Before that, it was pretty much all Campagnolo. So
very interesting.
Yeah, that's,
wonder why that is.
Who knows? But yeah, that's with AG2R on their Van Rysel bikes.
Yeah.
They've got Shimano on them. So yeah, FDJ as well. Their switch. This is quite a big one because they've been with Lapierre a very long time. Who are Dijon-based, so, it's the French team with the French bikes. They're switching to Villiers. So Villiers are going to be on Astana and FDJ.
Very interesting
Hoping
move.
to get more than one win.
Maybe that's what they need to do.
Yeah, well,
get more teams under your belt.
Well, you'd think so. I mean, that's, it's a big investment for a bike brand to sponsor a team.
Yeah.
And if you're only getting one win out of it, it's kind of putting
Not
pressure on that deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Total Energies have moved away from Specialized, or Specialized have moved away from Total Energies.
Who knows?
Well, I think it probably has something to do with the departure of Peter Sagan, because he brought Specialized with him, as riders often do. He was, a big Specialized ambassador. So I think that's the big thing. But the cool thing is they're getting Envy. This is going to be the first time Envy is in the World Tour as a bike sponsor. They only made their first actual bike last year, so they're going to be riding Envy.
It's not going, is it?
Yeah, but
straight to the World Tour.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is it's a bit like Yolo Kometa with their Aurums. Envy don't have a TT bike.
What are they going to do?
Yeah, so
maybe they'll rustle one up.
Well, that's it. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So keep an eye peeled as to what bike they end up actually using in time trials this year.
Very interesting. Whoa. Were you going to say what I was going to say? Some comments of the week.
Let's do it. Right. First comment from last week's show.
Who's this guy?
John Cannings.
Who?
He says, count me in for a 24-hour live video analysing all the bike vault submissions from the GCN app. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
I would be there too. I feel like me and John would be a good duo on that.
I think so. I think you should. We should make that happen.
Should we make it happen?
Yeah.
We'll sit here and go through every single bike.
Yeah.
Do you think the bell would last?
Oh, it would probably get quite hot. Might
It would,
overheat.
yeah.
Speaking of which, because of the sad news, we've got an important bike vault announcement. So because of the sad news that GCN Plus is going and the app is closing down on the 19th of December, going forward, you won't be able to upload your bike vault submissions in the app. So we're going back to the uploader
To the good old days.
that we had before, which we're going to post a link down in the description of this video down below. So if you want to upload your bikes, the Bike Vault, and hacks and bodgers and all that stuff, it goes in the uploader like it did before.
Please
But-
still send the bikes in.
Yes, but don't worry. It's not all bad news. Because John Cannings is actually busy squirreling away behind the scenes in GCN Megabase to incorporate that uploader into our new website.
Ooh.
So you'll be able to go on the website and it will be in there eventually, but that's not quite ready yet. But that's
Coming
what we're
soon.
doing. Yeah. Some comments under Alex's video about the mountain bike Brompton conversion that he did, which was absolutely quality.
It was.
Like, brilliant. So Matt Butler AL says, how many damn security doors does one need to go through?
I didn't even know we had that many security doors.
Yeah, well, yeah, we do. Security's tight
It is.
here at
And then
Megabase.
another comment, 10 out of 10 for that intro, GCN team.
Yeah, that's from 104-15153. I hope that's not his phone number. Anyway, was a good intro. And John Strack said, nice one again, Adrian. I like that. I think that's a good name.
Yeah. He's definitely an Adrian, isn't he?
I love that this joke has just taken on a life of its own.
Sometimes I read through the comments, I'm like, see this random name?
Who's
I'm like,
Bertrand?
yeah, and I'm like, oh.
Who's Clarence? Yeah. No one
Anyway.
can remember Adrian's name. There you go.
And the next step for Carbon, the video you did, you had some very nice comments. Another one from John, actually. Love seeing these factory videos. Excellent work, Ollie.
Yeah, thanks, John Strack.
And then another one from Chris. I absolutely nerded out with this video. I like it. Great work, Dr. B.
Yeah, it was really interesting going to that factory Forge and Bond. Like, the process was really interesting, and there have been some fantastic comments under it as well, especially people with like materials knowledge of nylon composites and stuff, saying some of the disadvantages of it. But it's an interesting like material science application for it. I'm yeah.
Bit sciencey for me.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it can go, that stuff.
Me
Yeah,
too.
cool. Check it out if you've not seen it. Right, Bike Vault. Where's the bellman on?
Great
Let's
question.
do it. Let's do it. So the first submission we've got this week is from Beyond Vision. And they have a Pinnacle Arcos Di2 Limited.
I like this a lot. Look at
Yeah.
those bottle cages and all the gold little details. Gold chain, gold little caps.
It's good. It's like I like the gold. Is that an action camera on the back?
An action camera.
And lights. I like it because it's like a kind of very functional
It is.
winter/commuting steed.
But it's also chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? I'm liking the guards on it, or fenders, if you're from America. And
Tan sidewalls, the chain.
big chunky tyres that aren't going to
clean.
puncture as easily. Yeah, I'm into it.
Ah, the bottle cage.
Gold bottle cages. Yeah. They're the only thing I'm not sure. I see what they've done. They've tied it all together.
No,
but I'm
I
not
like
sure.
them.
Yeah, okay. Nice. Next up, who've we got?
Next up, we've got Velo weaponry
Ooh.
with, what is
It's
this?
a Moots Route
Ooh.
RSL. I mean, they say route. I say a Moots route.
Do you, I remember I went to the Moots factory and they told me to write route on the frame. And I was like, how do you spell it? Because I thought it was,
Yeah,
It wasn't
like ROWT.
yeah, I didn't know it was the same as route.
RAUGHT. Like some like weird.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Yeah. The route?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh,
beautiful
you mean a
bikes.
route? Well, it's just it's a great bike, that. And moots are beautiful, but the angle that it's presented
It
at
just
is
needs
weird.
to come down
And
a little bit.
Yeah, and it's in a stand, right? But the front wheel is still jaunty.
Is it?
Yeah. No, that's nice. It's just nice.
It's just so nice.
Flu bags is next.
North Road.
Oh, North Road.
Haven't heard of that before.
It's an IO. I'm not familiar with the brand North
neither.
Road, but yeah, this is their IO.
Nice looking bike though.
It is cool. That looks to me like that has been taken in or near to Porto Pollença, Mallorca.
You're going pretty.
It's the coastal road bit where you go in just as you get into town and there's trees. I think that's where that was taken.
Potentially.
And putting it out there. What are you saying?
It is very nice, but I don't know if it's a super nice. But I can't work out why it's not super nice. And I think it might be the tree.
Well, if you're not sure, then it's a nice. I would have gone super nice.
Oh,
on that one.
really?
Just saying.
Well, you can try and persuade me.
Well, I think it's a really nice bike.
Yeah, it
It's a
is really nice, and
photo.
everything is aligned. But there's just something that's not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It would. Yeah. Okay. We have to agree. The wheels aren't aligned. to be
Maybe
fair.
it's that.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. DJ Cowboy next
I love that
with a
username.
Colnago CRS.
Wow.
Apparently, he's 6'4" with an inseam of 37 inches.
That's great to know.
That's why his saddle is the highest saddle in the world
That is the tiniest stem
and the highest saddle.
I've ever seen.
Also, I'm not too sure about the bike leaning strategy here.
Just on a wall.
It just looks a bit precarious.
It looks like it could end badly.
It could end with serious scratches.
Don't want to scratch
Also,
that.
the saddle angle is pointing
bit
up
up.
a little bit.
Maybe some people like it like that.
I'll take your word for it.
I don't know.
Nice.
I'm going to say nice
I'm going
as
to
well.
go nice with that one.
Oh, next up we have Mario 2411 with, what is this?
It's a custom build Patria Randonneur.
There we go.
Apparently it's practical, fun to ride, and it has wide mudguards. It can fit up to 35mm tyres, and it's got panniers,
It has got panniers.
which is good. I think there's a bit of a chimney going on there, and also can't quite see it because it's a bit far away, and it's a bit underexposed.
Just zoom in. Turn your brightness up.
Yeah, but I don't want to have to do that. That's just no. I'm going nice on that
I'm
one.
going nice
There's a
as
bit
well.
of
It
chimney
is-
as well. Surely that's triggering you, man.
Yeah, it's making me feel a bit funny if I'm honest. But I do quite like the fork angles. And
It
it's got-
looks like a great bike. The thing is,
Nice
that
little kickstand as well.
That is, if it were just presented with a better photo,
Yeah.
that's a super nice.
Yeah, easily.
It's just you've just let yourself down.
Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for this week on the GCN Tech Show. But I hope you all have a lovely Christmas if I don't see you before then. Ollie, hope you get your Christmas tree up.
Thanks. Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed the show as well. Thank
Yeah.
you for having me. And I think Alex will be back next week.
Yeah. Have a great Christmas, everyone. Hope you all get a new bike. So if
That'd
you
be
do get a
nice.
new bike, submit it into the bike vault and take a good photo.